Canada. Today in this video I will describe linear kinematics and talk about some of the concepts of kinetics. So, what is kinematics? Generally, it is described as a field of study that describes motion and often is referred to as the geometry of motion and is the term used to describe the forces, powers, and energies of the movement. Projection speed governs the size of the trajectory when angle, height are constant, and the speed can be measured by distance covered divided by the time taken to cover it. Thus, the equation speed is distance over change in time. We can also measure the velocity of the projectile by measuring the distance traveled from point A to point B, and is represented by the formula velocity equals displacement over change in time. We will start off with kinematics of projectile motion. Projectile has vertical and horizontal components. Vertical component is influenced by gravity and reflects the maximum height, while the horizontal is not affected by gravity and reflects to maximum distance. So, how can we determine where the projectile will land? Well, we can do so by applying three simple Newton's laws, which are always the same. First, Newton's law, the law of inertia, states that an object at rest will remain at rest unless acted upon by an outside force, and an object in motion will continue with the same speed and direction unless acted upon by an outside force. Second, Newton's law of motion, the law of acceleration, states that acceleration is produced when a force acts on mass. The greater the mass, the greater the amount of force needed to move the object. Third, Newton's law of motion is law of reaction. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. In the first video clip, the soccer ball was kicked with a low force, which resulted in a low distance traveled. In the second video, the ball was kicked with a medium force, which resulted in a greater distance. In the third video, greatest force was applied, thus resulting in the greatest distance traveled.
In this case, the law of inertia is displayed when the foot makes contact with the ball, applying an external force. The law of acceleration can be observed in action as the force applied to the ball affects the speed. The increases in force leads to the increases in projectile speed. The law of reaction is shown when the action of the leg's force makes contact with the ball. The reaction is the ball going into motion.
Projection angle governs the shape of the trajectory when speed and height are constant. 45-degree angle will provide greatest horizontal distance, while 90-degree angle will provide greatest vertical distance. When projectile bodies are projected into the air, they are in free fall. While their horizontal component is affected by wind and not by gravity, we used an indoor space to reduce the force of wind.